Friends, we have some pretty major news coming out of Washington, D.C. right now.
Donald Trump has taken over D.C.
Oh no, Donald Trump took over Washington, D.C. And he's still in the Epstein files. We're not distracted, bro. Allegedly, of course.
Did somebody say dictator? Okay, Donald Trump has just organised a mass takeover today of Washington, D.C. He's basically telling all homeless people, you have to go. Okay, we don't like you being homeless. We don't want to look at you, so just move. We want it lawful and peaceful and tidy and clean. And he's just going to basically take over all the police. He's going to take over everything and make sure that he turns it into some little Stepford sort of area. And at the moment, he's also deployed the National Guard. Now, I don't know about you, but this reminds me of somebody else. This reminds me of somebody else who used to march in his jackboots into various different places and just take over. Is that just me? Anyway, I know you guys are always very divided when it comes to your opinions, Republicans and Democrats and what have you. And then there's also those people that say, you're from the UK, why are you even bothered? Well, because it's a world issue. It affects all of us, so that's why I'm bothered. So I'd like to hear your feedback. You think this is a good idea? You think this should be rolled out across the country? Just jump in, take over, kick all the undesirables out? Again, it reminds me.
If you think Trump's plan to take over DC's police department is about catching crime, it's not. This is about stoking white fear, making black people seem dangerous. The Trump administration wasted no time, less than half a day before posting photos of black men they've arrested on the official White House social media pages. It's a calculated move to stigmatize black people, especially black men, as criminal thugs to be feared. There is not even a single white man that they have arrested and posted on the social media page, y'all. Here's the truth. Violent crime in DC is at a 20-year low. It's dropped since 2023 and 2024. White folks will think this is solely about distracting from the Epstein files, but the harm this stigmatization will have on our communities will be widely felt for black people. They've been running this playbook on Latinos since Trump took office. Now they're turning it on black communities in anti-black, anti-brown campaign dressed up as fighting crime. This is even worse than when the Clintons labeled black youth in our communities as super predators, because MAGA is creating the image of what a super predator looks like. Black people with children in DC, watch them. Especially watch your boys, because racial profiling and police violence is about to skyrocket there. Y'all be safe.
I'm almost speechless, right? Like, not only did they assault me and try to kick me in the head repetitively, they thought it was funny.
Today it was announced that Donald Trump has taken over the police force in Washington, D.C., and will be bringing in National Guard troops, supposedly to clean up a crime wave. We also know that the rate of violent crime in Washington, D.C. is at a 30-year low. When Donald Trump tells you that there's a crime wave there that's an emergency, then he can activate his emergency powers, which means yet another city is going to be descended upon by the American military. But really, is there anybody left in America at this point, no matter where you are on the political spectrum, that doesn't understand that Donald is desperately trying to distract everyone from the fact that he's all over the Epstein files? Instead of the Epstein files, what we get is the next big distraction, a bullshit story about crime in Washington, D.C., and then the American military descending on that city. But Donald's fucked up this time. You want to know why? Washington, D.C. is hooked up to a hub of Amtrak lines that run all up and down the Northeast Corridor. And what's on the Northeast Corridor? Every blue city that Donald Trump sat back and laughed at during the first year of COVID while we died by the tens of thousands, and he withheld emergency medical supplies from the doctors and nurses in our hospitals. We know Donald Trump. We know exactly what he is. And this time, Donald Trump did the thing that, well, your grandmother told you not to do, which is what? Donald Trump is just shit where he sleeps. And there are millions of us who absolutely could choose to, on any given day, get on a train in New York City or Philadelphia or Boston and be in D.C. in time to join a protest. See you in Washington, Donald.
Police have released a new video of a homicide suspect who escaped 2 days ago.
A month ago, I told you all about sources within the federal government who said Donald Trump was secretly planning to take over Washington, D.C. and turn it into a corporate-controlled freedom city. Well, now that Donald Trump just announced that the National Guard, the FBI, and the DEA will be taking over the district by force, now is probably a good time to go over what these federal government insiders said was going to happen next. We already know Trump is lying about why he's taking over D.C. He claims that it's because of rampant crime, when really crime rates have gone down somewhere between 30 and 40% in the last few years. Reports suggest that his real plan is to turn DC into the first of many freedom cities, which are corporate-controlled areas governed entirely by what they call CEO kings. I know it sounds crazy and conspiratorial, but the people advocating for these freedom cities aren't keeping it a secret either, and the Freedom City Caucus was present at Donald Trump's inauguration. It's largely groups of tech billionaires who want to be free from taxation and government regulation. A month ago, my sources told me that Trump's plan was to give DC to billionaire Peter Thiel, owner of Palantir, the AI surveillance company. You know, the guy who said that it wasn't essential for humanity to survive the growth of new technology. The worst part is that those who predicted this DC takeover have said that it won't stop here. The intention is to use DC as a prototype for expansion, to set a precedent for the federal government being able to take over territories and put corporations in control. Their stated intention is to make the government obsolete to the power of billionaires, for us to mostly live in areas that are controlled by Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg. It's not a conspiracy anymore, folks. It's a plan in action that we have to organize against before it's too late.
Okay, so there's some breaking news out of DC. There is a possible active shooter in the Senate, and there are evacuations. I found this video. It's pretty intense. There's nothing graphic. Everybody's good. But watch this.
Go, go, go. I don't know where to go. Which way? Guys, out this way, downstairs. Down the stairs? Go, 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 go. Go. Fast. Go fast.
Are you starting to see it yet? Every action that Trump takes, are you starting to see what is starting to take shape in America? Today's actions, today's DOJ takeover of DC has nothing to do with crime rates, which are legitimately like on the downward decline, right? They are dropping. This has nothing to do with crime rates in DC. This has everything to do with testing the limits. This is a litmus test to see how much more he can get away with. And he made it very clear during his press conference today. Somebody asked him the question, if this, depending on how this goes, will this happen in other areas? And he literally mentioned cities, blue cities I'll add, but he mentioned Chicago, Los Angeles, other cities he mentioned that this could be a possibility for in the future. He's simply trying to see what he can get away with. And he knows right now that we have a Congress that is not doing shit to stop him. We have a do-nothing Congress of representatives and senators who, by the way, are elected to represent us in Washington, D.C., and they're not doing that. This is simply another test to see what he can get away with. And this is how we get further and further down the pipeline of fascism. Before you know it, it's too late. The more takeover that's allowed to happen, the worse it gets. Too little, too late at some point. This is just the beginning. Keep watching. Keep watching. The National Guard is going to go into more and more cities. Bet on it.
Life in prison for one of the 5 men in the 2018 murder of Micaiah Wilson.
Micaiah was shot and killed just outside of her northeast home while trying to get ice cream.
A shocking sight in broad daylight.
I was so disgusted and freaked out.
It was dinner time just after 5:30 Friday when a man with an apparent lunchbox crept into Catherine Baker's driveway, lodged a cucumber in her SUV's grill, checked to see if the coast was clear, and began performing a lewd act.
I want my neighbors to know and keep an eye out for this person. I want
DC is fine. It's nothing wrong with DC that doesn't happen anywhere else, in the States. Just their presence is good if the DC police need assistance, but I don't think they need the National Guard. I've been robbed. I'm a legit citizen. I've been robbed and everything. So some cities are worse than D.C. And the crime rate has gone down.
And the young people, they are kind of out there. I don't know what their problem is, but they getting kind of outrageous. That's in D.C. and in Maryland and New York, everywhere.
He's just starting here, okay? He's not going to end with here. Let him know that he is going against the vast majority. Crime in D.C. is at a low, and he's using that for an excuse.
His accusations that crime is on the rise is baseless. I think it was one of the Doge folks that got mugged, and he's using that as this catalyst to militarize D.C., which is insanity to me. Insane overreach. It's completely unnecessary.
I think this is a way for him to take control of D.C. like he's been wanting to do. Crime has been down. Of course, you're going to take precautionary measures. You're going to make sure that you vigilant about, where you're walking and what's going on around you. But it's, it's just the thing about living here.
Nobody hit.
D.C. is now under military occupation, with Trump saying he's coming for Chicago and New York next, which has prompted many Americans to say these are the moves of a dictator. Now, as far as what we're seeing, he's activating National Guard soldiers to occupy D.C. He's also taken control over the D.C. Metropolitan Police. You've got Trump saying that he'll be targeting homeless people and what he called bloodthirsty criminals. Trump also saying if you do so much as touch or even think about destroying a statue or monument in Washington, D.C., you go to jail for 10 years. With many saying this is the first time a U.S. president has advocated for jailing Americans for simply thinking and having thoughts. You also had Trump saying that D.C. is like Baghdad, but also keep in mind crime's actually down in D.C. In fact, not only has it been down for 2 years, crime's been going down across the United States for 2 years now. I mean, arguably, if crime increased in D.C. in 2025, it would be because he moved there. And as far as what we're seeing now, you have many saying, just like he did in Los Angeles, you have Trump creating a fake crisis, and now he's seeking to solve his fake crisis by using the military on civilians. All while you have Governor J.B. Pritzker responding to Trump's threats to Chicago saying, let's not lie to the public. You and I both know you have no authority to take over Chicago. By the way, where are the Epstein files? And that is you had Governor Gavin Newsom saying he was just getting warmed up in Los Angeles. He will gaslight his way into militarizing any city he wants in America. This is what dictators do, right? And all of this is you had Dan Carlin, the host of the largest history podcast in the world, saying today. Those of you who don't know what authoritarianism looks like, this is it. And this isn't partisan. This is the time for choosing. Do you support the constitutional republic or this one person? If you don't see it, it's either because you are so blinded by your own partisanship and brainwashing, or it's because you've wanted a dictator all along.
Video from an employee shows the aftermath. Items scattered everywhere. Police say multiple items were stolen and an employee suffered a minor injury.
Overall, violent crime is down just from last year, 26%.
When you start policing at that level, federal level, it gets too over the top, because then you're going to start policing people in their homes, in their private spaces, in their church, in their schools. The problem is not just what's happening in D.C. How about these places in Florida and Texas and all these places where there are major problems and the crime is up? Crime is an issue. Crime is an issue in Southeast. Crime is an issue in Northwest. It's an issue across the district. However, it has been going down. I think the mayor can step up and do a little more. I think her office can bring more things into options for policing the area in a better manner.
It's absurd. I mean, D.C. is a city, and there's the issues that any city has. But it's absurd. And, if his mouth is moving, he's lying, one of those things. So, I mean, it's all distractions.
Every city that he named, Chicago, Oakland, Baltimore, all of them are black cities. So it just feels not only like a target on DC's back, but also mine as a black man in DC. It's just, it doesn't feel like home anymore. If you don't live in DC, you would think that, damn, DC is like he said, giving Baghdad or something, but it's not. It's not at all. Like, yes, we have issues like any other inner city, but those issues are coming because the tops are white people, and they don't see us. We want to make DC suitable for us, not for everyone.
I'm really scared for my neighbors. Actions like Trump's and words like Trump's are indicative of an overwhelming fear of people who are different from you. And I think that with that fear of people being different from you is usually you not putting a lot of effort into getting to know the people around you and getting to know your neighbors. And I think that's evidenced by the fact that it's so easy to say, oh, call in the National Guard or call in all of these agencies to police a neighborhood of people who have just as much of a right to be here as anyone else. And that fear is a disconnect between someone who's living there and people who are living like right down the street from you.
I think you can see that the mayor has established as well these new juvenile curfew enforcement zones, and they're primarily in black and brown neighborhoods, right? And so both from the mayor's standpoint and the Trump's standpoint, this is about race. I've lived here a long time. I feel safe, right? Like, this is a safe city.
Taking federal control of the police, and that's just not okay. I feel like these are the sorts of things that you start to see in dictatorships and in really, in regimes that want to consolidate power. This is the nation's capital, and we have home rule for a reason. We should be a state, but we're not. So, get the out of here.
Police supervisors in the department are manipulating crime data to make it appear violent crime has fallen considerably when compared to last year.
When our members respond to the scene of a felony offense where there is a victim reporting that a felony occurred, inevitably there will be a lieutenant or a captain that will show up on that scene and direct those members to take a report for a lesser offense. So instead of taking a report for a shooting or a stabbing or a carjacking, they will order that officer to take a report for a theft or an injured person to the hospital or a felony assault, which is not the same type of classification.
Greg Pemberton says the police department's command staff is focusing on two categories in order to get the numbers to fall. They are armed with a dangerous weapon, an injured person to the hospital.
When management officials are directing officers to take reports for felony assault, or if they're going back into police databases and changing offenses to felony assault is not a category of crime that's listed on the department's daily crime stats. It's also not something that's a requirement of the FBI's Uniform Crime Reporting Program. So by changing criminal offenses from, for example, ADW bat or ADW gun to felony assault, that would avoid both the MPD and the FBI from reporting that as a Part 1 or a felony offense.
Pemberton says the union has been gathering evidence for some time now by looking at reports and talking with officers all over the city.
What we've heard through our members and through members of management that are willing to talk with the union is that this is a directive from the command staff, is that they want to make sure that these classifications of these reports are adjusted over time to make sure that the overall crime stats stay down.
As of last Monday, when we spoke with Pemberton, D.C. crime data shows violent crime was down 28%. Today, the department's website says violent crime is down 25% when compared to the same time last year, and overall crime is down 8%.
That's preposterous. There's absolutely no way crime could be down 28%. Last year, they suggested that it went down 34%.
As for the claims made by the union, Chief Smith released this statement. It says, the Metropolitan Police Department is committed to upholding the trust and the confidence of the public. Any irregularity in crime data brought to my attention will be addressed immediately. I do not condone any official reclassifying criminal offenses outside the guidelines set in the MPD policy. Any allegation of this behavior will be dealt with through our internal processes, which will ensure those members are held accountable. I have the utmost confidence in the command staff leadership currently in place across the Metropolitan Police Department.